talk about them, like the fumigation, wearing of masks, washing hands. How are you monitoring that? Because the school, it's a very large community. It's not easy to control. So how are you doing all of those things?
Thank you, Kathy. For the time being, dear listeners, the schools have a problem of making sure that the children are properly engaged into the activity that brought them to school. And when we are keeping them in school, we make sure that the SOPs are in place. Because for the time being, we have a very small population. We don't have the biggest population in school of the whole school. Now, so the fact that we are only accommodating a few classes in school, it is important for us to make sure that this small population is under control. That is, have washing levels, have sanitization levels, and make sure that the class are not congested. Now, when we have the class not congested, it is quite enough to let us have these children safe.
Okay, talk of the parents who leave all the responsibilities to the schools and the teachers. Once they take the kids at school and they just leave it to the teachers.
It is unfortunate, dear listeners. It is our responsibility as parents to make sure that the children are in a safe place, safe in a way that, I would want us all to know that schools are an addition to what a kid should be. A kid starts from home. If the kid comes to school with the right attitude, to know what has brought this kid to school, it helps both the school and the parents to have the children in school and safe. The safety of these children depend on how we handle these children when they are at school. Now, when we are looking after these children, what has brought them from home is so important that our students will concentrate. It is fortunate that we have a very small population in school, and this population we have in school, we can keep it for the time being because the COVID is still alive. It is still around us. Let the kid have a mask. Let the kid have, the mask must come from home. The SOPs like sanitization, water, like things like sanitizers are our responsibility as a school. And when we put them in place, we must, for the time being, because we are few, we can be able to control these children and tell them and sensitize them that it is our responsibility as children to make sure that we are safe. COVID kills. We therefore must make sure that we are safe. It does not discriminate from a child to a big person, but it kills. So it is our responsibility, both as parents and the school administration, to make sure that things are going straight.
Okay. And again, what about these families that consider their jobs more than the families? Because for them, they're like, yes, one. For me, my job is to just go out there, make the money, and then my family,
It's very unfortunate that our population has commercialized everything. Commercialization of our children is the worst of all. You can commercialize, dear listeners, you can commercialize anything else, but not your child. Because the moment you introduce money into your child and leave this kid to the population, you have destroyed a nation. It is the president of tomorrow you are killing. It is the doctor of tomorrow you are destroying by commercializing it. We know you have money and you must look for the money. But brethren, it is important for us to consider that the president of this country was obedient. the doctor of this country was obedient to the parents, that by the time the kid is leaving home to go to school, he knows daddy or mommy is expecting me back after class. And as a result, the kid does what he or she is supposed to do in school and goes home immediately the school is over. Some students are very anxious to tell their parents what they studied in school as soon as they arrive home. But some of we parents have ended up not even bothering about what the child studied today. When you come home, you enter the house when you are drunk. When you come home, your madam is tired.
And sometimes they come in a little late, that the kids are already sleeping.
Yeah, that's the tiredness.
They don't have the chance to interact with them.
That's
to hear
true.
from them, what transpired throughout the day, they don't really.
It's quite true that they have thought that the child doesn't belong to them at the given age. Because now the age does not matter. Because even a child who is 2 months old is taken to a daycare. Now the daycare is going to nurture this child into a commercial level, because whatever they give them is because they are going to earn. What they feed them on is what they can afford. But some of our children have a given limitation of what they want to eat at home, what they eat for what purpose. Unless you have checked the balanced diet of the school to make sure that what you give your child at home is what they give at school. What nourishment you are giving to your child depends on your family and how able you are. Therefore, it is very, very important, parents, that we look after our children as a big asset for this nation, because this nation belongs to us and belongs to you as a parent. And you as a parent, you are the foundation of this very important child that is going to be a president of tomorrow, or a minister or an MP for tomorrow. The moment you neglect this child, the moment you neglect this child, not negligence as such, but you hand over this child to a nursery school, a daycare, and when you come home, you only want to see the figure of your child who was at school, without looking at what this child has learned. You have killed this nation, and you have already killed it, by the way, where you see the children who are on the streets now, the children who have gone through university, the children who have gone to tertiary institutions, and they are on the street loitering. A child has a degree in pharmaceuticals, but instead of going to do pharmaceuticals, he's on the street vending. You have a child who has done medicine, human medicine. He's in the Uganda Revenue Authority doing accounts. A man who has done BCom is vending on the road. And what do they say? We have no employment. We are on the street because we don't have jobs. Jobs are qualified by a person who has read for it, and he has practiced it, and has mastered what he's going to do in this world. Everything we do it because we are the best of ourselves. And it is important that what we master is what we learn, is what we do. If you haven't mastered anything, it's unfortunate. Don't even try to do it, because you don't know how to do it. You must do it with passion. And that being done, because it is not only the lower classes. Even at upper level, a child goes to university, going to study a course. He gets in the university, he cannot even study the course. he goes to enjoying himself because we're at the commercial level and we go to look for money in town. He only waits to come for graduation.
Before we continue, how have you tried to help these kinds of children who are, yes, they've been sent to school, but then they go the other way around?
As the theme is, the responsibility is for both the schools and the parents. The parents should make sure that even when the child is at the university, it is a parent's responsibility to come around and make sure that this student is in class. The university wouldn't stop you from going to check on your child, whether he's at the university or not. Some of the students say they are at Makerere or they are in Nkumba when they are actually in Chikubo selling,
trying to make some
making money. This is the commercialization that has commercialized our nation.
Going back to the parents who just send kids to school and do not follow up, what would you encourage these kids, most especially the boys, who to like? What would you encourage them to go straight home immediately after school? Those who are in day schools, not to play around, and just to make sure that they're safe and they're helping out the parents and the teachers as well, because it's us. It begins from us to make sure that we are safe.
You have said it right. It starts with us. It starts with us. If you can take a responsibility of making sure that this child comes from school at 4 o'clock and your home is just a kilometer away, and you allow your child to come home at 8 in the night, and you don't ask your child what happened, you are taking it easy to kill this nation. You are part of that group that is destroying us as a nation. The child is the nation of tomorrow. When I was growing up, I was told, come home when you leave school. And don't play on the way, because when you play on the way, you can get hurt. Don't enter people's homes. Come home, because each home has a way it brings up their children. Now, when these children are brought up differently from your home, you are bound to have a very big mix-up of events, and those events are not safe for us all.
And what would you advise the parents who just send their kids to school, trusting the border men to take their kids? You may find that the border takes the child to school and then again brings the kid back home, but the parents do not mind to find out what goes on whenever they're not around.
Believe me, it is a very pathetic event for you to entrust particularly your child into a border's hand. A border is a person who has failed in life, who thinks that he failed or he succeeded in the education that he didn't struggle for. As I said at the beginning, that a person can get a qualification which he doesn't have even. Now, a border has no qualification, is not controlled for border. It is unfortunate for you as a parent to entrust your child into the hands of a border. I'll give you a scenario which has happened a few months ago. A lady and a husband or a family entrusted their child into the hands of a border. The parents leave at 7 o'clock. The school opens at 8. They thought that it is important to have this child be picked by a border, taken to school, and the border takes responsibility to pick up that kid from school to back home. parents leave at 7 and leave the child to go to school by a boda boda. So what happened? This boda boda would pick this girl of 6, take her to school, bring her back the first time. The second time, he started admiring the child. The third time, they left home, going to school. The boda boda said, let us get to my home first. They go to the boda boda's home. He did whatever he did with the child. The child goes back to school. When she's dropped at school, she's crying. First time. The second time, she did the same thing. The third time, the school management got surprised and said, why do you come here crying? Why are you so miserable? Don't they pack for you? The child kept quiet. The school administration took responsibility, suspecting, because every day they see the kid coming home, coming to school, and being picked by the same boda boda. They took responsibility of checking this child. They took responsibility of taking the child to a doctor, only to find out that the kid had been defiled many times.
That's so unfortunate.
Now, the parents, because they dropped this child in the morning at 7, and by 4 o'clock, the child comes back home with the same boda boda, and the boda boda has threatened the kid, if you sell it to anybody, if you tell anybody that this is what happened, I'm going to kill you. Because it is his responsibility to look after this kid. And unfortunately, the parents didn't know. Until that time, the school found out that the kid was being defiled. She was so miserable because of the defilement. And she had no responsibility, powers to change the plan of the parents. They called the parents at school. They called the wife or the mother to come and see what had happened to the child. By the time this lady got at school, she was devastated to see her child, whom she doesn't check on any time, that had been defiled. Of course, a normal process was done. They arrested the boda boda, took him to prison. As of now, the boda boda must be in prison serving a very long sentence for defiling that child. But this child has got spoiled.
Yeah.
So, are you making a nation of tomorrow, or you are being irresponsible to destroy this country? Believe me, brethren, dear listeners, it is important for us to know where we are taking this country, how we are taking it there, and our responsibility is ours. The school administration has laws, has tight observation, particularly of the girl child, because some girls grow faster than others.
Exactly.
Some girls have funny bodies that destroy even the mind of the teacher.
True.
Now, it happens that human error, I call it human or misbehaving error of our children, of our teachers, have actually defiled these children. The school administration has taken trouble to make sure if the teacher doesn't live on the campus, or if the teacher lives on the campus, there is no child that should be going to the teacher's house.
Okay.
There are rules and regulations that govern, even at the ministry level, govern these children, especially the girl child, not to move to the parents, to the teachers' homes.
As you give out your last remarks and your last advice to the parents out there and the children at school, you advise them to take care and to look out, because COVID is real and it's still there and it really kills.
Dear parents and viewers, This nation belongs to us. It is the child that you're bringing up today that is a nation of tomorrow, the leader of tomorrow. I want to beg you at this time that our children must be nurtured right from home. Our nurturing at home is what is nurturing this nation. A mother and a father are the stronghold of our children. And these children are supposed to be the nation of tomorrow. So are you building a clear nation, a innovable nation? Please remember that your input is more important than even the school input, because the school input is to qualify this kid to a given level. But for you, it is a responsibility to build a nation. I therefore wish to say that is our responsibility. I still continue appealing to the parents. I am on the school side because my responsibility is at school, and I want to say that it is our responsibility to look after these children.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kabuleta.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to begging our children and our nation to relax some of these laws that they have put forward, to say, do not punish the child. When the child comes into my hands, as a parent, I should be able to nurture my child, even beat her up or beat him up when he comes home late. When the child comes home late, I should be able to ask where she was, so that tomorrow she fears to come and answer these questions. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kabuleta. The safety of our kids should be part of all of us. Remember, living a safe life is your right and responsibility. I remain Ishu McCarthy. Stay safe.